Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Reseller Show. My name is Kev Massive Action Blackburn, and this is episode 41. We are on the Reseller Show 41, and this week we have a very special guest again. And just to let you guys know that Andy won't be here until next week. He's just got back from the US, so he's having a couple of days to recover and things, but he's going to be back next week. So we've got another special guest on this week, and we're going to talk all things reselling, just like we do every single Monday. If you're into retail arbitrage, wholesale, online arbitrage, private label, it does not matter. This is the weekly show where we talk all things reselling online. And this guest, a super special guest this evening, we'll give a little bit of an intro. I put out on the Facebook group a little bit earlier on that this person has sold nearly £1 million in his business. He has, last Q4, he sold over £100,000 worth of products on Amazon FBA. He peaked at nearly 50,000 in 30 days. He's been building his team all 2019. He's got some great news to share with us this evening that he's going to be going out into a warehouse. And who is it? Who is it? It's our one and only Reveal Yourself special guest.
Hello, good evening all. How are we?
It's Adam. It's Adam.
Hello.
So it's great to have you here this evening, Adam, and the guest of the Reseller Show.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So I guess for you guys that maybe don't know Adam, do you want to give yourself a little bit of an introduction, Adam? Who's Adam? How long have you been selling online for? What is it that you're up to? And how's your year been?
Just in a nutshell, so basically I've been selling on Amazon for just literally slightly over 2 years. As you said, I've sold multiple six figures since I've started. This year it's going to be massive because I believe this year is going to be the first year when I'm going to sell 7 figures. So fingers crossed. And the upcoming couple of weeks are going to be quite interesting for me from business perspective because there's some massive changes coming on. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and we're really great to have you here this evening, Adam. And just going to give everybody a bit of a shout out. You guys that are watching us live, do apologize on the slight delay this evening. There was a bit of technical difficulties, so I do appreciate you guys that did stick around. But just a shout out to FBA UK. Good to see you, Gareth. Sean's in Boots this evening, just got the notification. He is doing retail arbitrage around the country near you. We've got Simon's in, and we've got Kev in. Everybody's starting to come in now. So if you guys have got any questions for myself and Adam to discuss, anything that you want to share, please get in the comments. Like always, it's a very interactive show. That's why I love doing the Reseller Show. That's what me and Andy created the Reseller Show in the first place, because we wanted to have just a nice general conversation from reseller to reseller, and we take massive action every single day. So, Adam, you've got some big news. Okay, so we've got Adam on the show. It's been when did I first meet you, Adam?
It was sometime, I think it was middle of June last year. So yes, it's been like 14 months ago. It's been quite a while, although it doesn't seem like a while. It just literally seems like a couple of months ago, at least for me.
I know, time flies. I bet you guys in the chat can relate to this. Like, how fast has the last 8 months gone? It's crazy to think that we are now 6 weeks away, 6 weeks or so away from another Q4. So these Q4s, they come around quick, although it's felt like one of those years where everybody's just in the trenches, everybody's just building their business, and the rewards are coming. So I met Adam last year, came to a couple of the masterminds, met Adam, and he's been up to the warehouse. We've been for coffees, been for meals. I've got loads and loads of great respect for Adam because he's been taking massive action, which is great. Like he said, he's going to be hitting that 7-figure some point this year, right, Adam? You're thinking it's going to be in Q4?
Yes, as long as it goes to the plan, it should be somewhere in the between middle of November to middle of December, but definitely should be this year.
Yeah, which is cool. That's an amazing milestone in itself. It's fantastic. So some big news. So next month, what's happening with you, Adam?
Well, yeah. So basically, those people who know me at least a little bit from masterminds or from the group or my Facebook lives, I've been always saying that, oh yeah, I'm not getting into warehouse because I don't need to. I'd rather have that outsourced, and that's why I've been using Kev's Prep Center since the very beginning of this year. But I've just grown so much, and I had such a massive, fantastic opportunity round the corner for taking on a business unit that I just couldn't resist, and I just went for it. So basically, from next month, so in about 3 weeks' time, I'm going to be moving my own operations to my own warehouse, which is a massive step from my side.
Yeah, I mean it's an incredible achievement, and there's been a few guys that have gone out into warehouses this year, and the reason why I say that because we've got Luke in. The book picker, who was a special guest of the Reseller Show as well. So he's just gone into a warehouse. Adam's just got into a warehouse. I'm sat in my warehouse right now. I've always said when it comes to reselling, whether you are doing, doesn't really matter what business model you're doing, whether it is an online arbitrage, whether it's wholesale, whether you're into books, whether you're into whatever you're ultimately doing, you got two choices. Like if you're going to do Amazon FBA, a big part of this business is going to be this side of things, like prep, shipping every day. You're going to have deliveries coming in every day. Those items need to be processed, and it's a time-consuming thing. So everybody's got two options. You either go out to your own warehouse, or you go out to a prep service. That's really your two options, and it's completely up to you which one you do. There's pros and cons to each. And
there is
myself,
there is a third one as well, Kev. We've both been through that. Packing in your own living room.
Well, yeah, I mean, there is that. I mean, when I say warehouse, I mean that back in the day, my living room was the warehouse. The house was certainly the warehouse. But you've only got two options. You either get out to your own warehouse so you can start to hire employees. Okay, so I remember myself when we were at home, early 2016, we actually moved out to this warehouse in the June of 2016. So we had about 6 months of 2016 at home, and we had an employee come home, and that just makes no sense. Like, you can't have a business where you've got employees. I've got Amber just coming to our house to work in the living room. It's just not long term. It's not going to happen. So getting out into a warehouse where you're going to make it an actual business, an establishment where you can operate things, you can set up your systems. You've got a super, super exciting time at the minute, Adam. Like, what is it that you're looking forward to the most over the next couple of months?
Well, I think the most important part for me, apart from moving to a warehouse, is that actually when I'm going to move to the warehouse, it's going to be feeling like I finally have a business, a proper business. Because you know what, if you work from home, from your own living room or bedroom or wherever you work now, well, it doesn't feel like you have a proper business. But when you get into your own warehouse or storage unit or whatever, then it feels like you have a business, a proper one. So that's one thing that I'm actually looking forward. And the other one is, obviously, I'm in the process now of building my team. So I'm just hoping that by the start of Q4, I will have somebody who's going to be purchasing for me, reviewing, looking after my reprice and all the stuff, so I can focus solely on my warehouse side of the business. So that means creating the processes, tweaking them, and creating all the process that I need for an employee for the next year.
Yeah, so it's a super, super exciting time. So you guys that are in the chat, I'm just going to say hello to another a few guys that have come in. So great to see you, Jerry. Jerry says, I knew it was Adam. He says Q4 is life. Luke, great to see you, Luke. I hope you're doing really, really well. I love the video that Luke did with Reezy a couple of days ago, walking around the warehouse and things. Fantastic. I love talking warehouses. I love it. I mean, I could sit here and talk warehouses all day. I love it. FBA UK says he uses his conservatory for the warehouse, the 4x4. We've all been there. This is what it's all about. It's this. We've all been there. I remember in the living room, in the kitchen, in the hallway. Like it was everywhere. Crazy. It was it's just everywhere. Sean says, was it Adam who got suspended? If so, I bet his heart skipped a beat. Yeah, so you guys that maybe do or don't know, Adam did go through a little bit of a bad time a couple of months back. We got it all sorted. We did a full suspension defense case study, which I'll put in the show notes a little bit later on. But if you go onto YouTube and just search for Amazon suspension defense case study with Adam Kupinski, I'm sure the video is going to come up. How long was that case study that we did? It was about 2 hours long or so. We went through.
I think yes, it was like 2.5 hours. It was really long.
Yeah, we went through what happened, how we ended up getting it back, some prevention tips for all of us, and some reaction tips for all of us. So you can go over to suspensiondefense.com as well, and it's all there. Yeah. But so okay, Adam, you're the special guest. Let's talk a little bit more about your business in 2019. So you come into 2019, you had what was your goals to begin with? Like, was your intention to build the team out and take it from there to build off your amazing Q4 last year?
You know what? Actually, I will show you what were my goals. So hold on a second. So these are my goals for this year.
1 second. I'll make the screen bigger. There we go. Go on then.
So outsource the whole business. Hold on a second. So outsource the whole business. Hold on.
Yeah.
So that's my first goal. So
100% outsource the business by 2020.
Yeah. So that's my I'm on my way. I've got visiting some Tony Robbins. It's not going to happen this year, but I've got already booked in tickets for the next year, and that's the last part. It is going to happen from September on. So I'm on the track. If I can tell that I'm on the track.
Yeah, love that. Love it. So a big goal for you was to ultimately outsource your operations. So you can get a bit of time back. And the great thing about what you're up to right now, and we'll dig down deeper a little bit into the team if you like, but you're going to be really busy in the warehouse. So you've got your systems to create in the warehouse, the procedures in the warehouse, what you're going to do with stock coming in, how you're going to process it, where all the material management that you got to deal with, the actual stations themselves, whether you're going to be on the floor for a period of time. I remember very, very well being on the floor for many, many months.
Of course.
The actual getting products in and out as quickly as you possibly can, obviously accurately, and making sure everything's good. So how are you going to tackle that then? Have you done any pre-planning? We can talk all things about the warehouse for a second if you like. So how did you find the warehouse to begin with? So for anybody who's listening back on the podcast and you guys that are live and you may be interested into a warehouse, Adam, what was the process of getting to to find the warehouse, to seal the deal? What are you looking out for?
Well, so basically, to start with, I live in a place which is literally 20 miles away from Birmingham, so the prices are quite high. So, quite high. What I mean by quite high is I'm going to be paying just shortly over 600 quid for 650 square foot unit, which is kind of expensive compared to people maybe living further up north. So I've got pretty much the same case as people living in south around London, but that's not a big issue. So I was looking at a unit around that, let's say, smaller than 1,000 square foot, because I knew I'm not gonna be doing any prep for anybody else. It's just only for me and my partner. So that sort of 600 to 1,000 square foot would be more than enough. And I was also looking because sooner or later I'm going to get into the warehouse. So I wanted to have like the shutter doors, a little bit of an office, in a good location where you can easily get in and out, secure, especially secure, because I've seen quite a few units and the security was just terrible. You could easily open the door with a knife. So I was like, beautiful unit, don't get me wrong, but from a security point of view, it's a big no-no. So that was the case, and I found my one on the. I think
Adam,
it was on the. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. While you're sharing this story, I'll be back in 1 second. Keep sharing the story.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. By all means, yeah, no problem at all. Yeah. So basically, what I've been doing, I've been trying the websites like Rightmove, like Purple Bricks and all the stuff, but unfortunately, in my area, I've got the issue that finding a unit below 1,000 square foot is a massive issue. But let's say if you want like 100,000, 200,000 square foot, that wouldn't be an issue at all, because I've got two brand new parks just being built, so that wouldn't be an issue. And I didn't want to travel 20 miles further to the unit, because that makes no sense. So I've just kept looking, and finally found the perfect unit, went for it, and that's how I ended up having warehouse.
Brilliant. I could hear you. That's the great thing about AirPods. I could hear you all the way through. So fantastic. So I'd love to know, you guys that are in the chat, are you interested in warehouses? Where's everybody at? Are you into warehouse prep service? I'd love to know. But running up and down those stairs. Let's see what everybody says. Danny says, sorry I'm late. No problem, Danny. We've got Jerry who said, warehouse is your life, guys. Yeah, warehouse. Love it. Kev says, what are people paying per square foot? So many different prices around my area. It's hard to know what is a good deal.
Well, yeah, but that for me personally depends on your area, because I've spoken with somebody who lives around Leeds area, and they renting out a similar unit. I think they've got like 700 square foot, and they're renting out that unit for, I think, £450 a month. So it largely depends on your area, but also just do your numbers. If the numbers stack up in case of your business, if you're happy with the with what they ask you to pay.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things to this. So obviously location's a big part. If you're located in in London, you're in central London, it's going to be very, very difficult to get anything in there. Super, super expensive. The more you go outside, the more north you go. I mean, where I am, we did really, really well to find this warehouse. And,
yeah, true.
In terms of finding this warehouse, funny enough, this is a good way of doing things. We actually just drove around the area where we live, just like we drove around all the different industrial parks around the area. And this warehouse here just happened to be not on any of the sort of estate agents. They weren't
Yeah.
on. It wasn't online. It wasn't like anything that you could inquire about, come and view and things. It just so happens to have a sign. So just the story goes, we ended up having a look around the neighbours and sort of saying, well, whose is this warehouse? And it just so happens to be the person across the road. And then it was a case of, we walked across the road and we just said, look, we want to inquire about this warehouse. And the guy is a real old school businessman, like a real old school, like he was like, it asked just a few simple questions like, what is it that you do in your business? He said he didn't want any type of lease agreement. It wasn't like a 12-month or a 24-month lease agreement or anything like that. He simply said a couple of requirements. He said, you pay on time every single month. If you don't pay on time, because he owns a scrapyard, and if you don't pay on time, yeah, he said if you don't pay on time, we've got plenty of forklift trucks. We're going to pick up a ton load of scrap, and we're going to pile it on your entrance. That's basically what he said. He said, you will not ship from this warehouse. Your operations will stop if you don't pay on time. So I said, that's fair. That's fair. And then he said, you're going to have to get the alarm for in the warehouse. You're going to have to get that refurbished because the alarm, there was a fault with the alarm initially when we first moved in. So I got those two done. I agreed to them both, and away we went. There was no sort of, that was it very, very quickly. It was like one of those, the stars aligned, if you like. It was like, this is too good of an opportunity. And we were in. Happy days.
Yeah, well, that's a different story. So if I can add something on it, it's a different story because you see, Kev, you dealt directly with the landlord, with the owner of the warehouse, whereas I'm dealing with a landlord through an agency. So it's not as easy for me to negotiate anything, and obviously I have to have anything that I want to do in the warehouse in the recent form. So it's two different things. So if you obviously can find a deal where you're speaking directly to the landlord, it's a different pair of shoes.
Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those things. But I recommend, you have a drive round. Be as resourceful as you can. Have a look. Knock on some doors. Ask some questions. You just never know what you're gonna come across. But Danny says, perks of living up north. You could always move, Danny, Luke says. Wink.
True.
I'm about 30 miles from France and can't get any more south. That's true. You can't get any more south if you're near France. You will always pay on time, Kev. Definitely. Always pay on time. Security is paramount. Yeah, absolutely. Security is paramount. Okay then, Adam. So you're going to be busy in the warehouse. So how have you set the business up for sourcing and purchasing? You mentioned before that you're going to want to outsource your purchasing, right? Because you're going to have a lot of things to deal with anyway in the warehouse.
Yeah.
So what sort of process are you? What are you doing right now to prepare yourself to outsource your purchasing?
Right, so what I did, and I started that process a couple of weeks ago. I've introduced to my business a senior virtual assistant, which we call a growth manager. So that's the person who looks after my repricing, my customer messages, account health. So as you mentioned, I went through a suspension 2 months ago. So I'm just doing whatever is humanly possible to actually prevent that happening in the future. So that was one of the main reasons why I went for the for a growth manager to look after that, just in case if anything pops up. So he's looking after all the admin work, and now I've got 2 sourcing VAs literally last week. So these VAs are going to be playing quite a vital part in my sourcing, and in the next couple of weeks I'll be getting another 2. So that gives me potential for 40 deals a day. So that's going to be me getting out of the way of the sourcing, and now obviously I will try to get my growth manager involved into reviewing and after some time purchasing as well. So that's my plan for outsourcing that side of the business, so I can solely focus on what's happening in the warehouse.
Yeah, love it. Love it. And I asked you this question, but myself and Adam actually spoke this morning,
Yeah,
and we had
did.
a bit of a session this morning. We was sorting out his actions over the next couple of weeks on what he has to do in the business. And the big thing for Adam right now is that warehouse. You know, you've got so much involved when it comes to this business model, from the shipping side of things, from the sourcing side of things, the purchasing, your account health and things. And that's why, one of the things that I've always said, and you guys will know this about me, I've always said that, virtual assistants are so powerful in your business. Like, if you are just having a virtual assistant that's looking after, the customer messages, like the customer feedback, and in your Seller Central account, it can give you a good report when it comes to your account health, making sure everything's good there, your repricing, all these little tasks. It's like this business model has a million and one different small tasks that always need to be maintained and managed on a daily basis. Now, you do have the 80-20. You do have the 80-20, like ultimately, like, the 20% of your actions equal 80% of the result. So like when you really think about it, if you purchase and ship, that is that, and keep that going, that is your business, right? But there's so many more things that are involved, making sure, like, especially when you've got your warehouse now, Adam, there's going to be, there's so much more on the line at this point. You've got to take it. I know you're taking it serious anyway, and we have to take this business serious anyway. But you're gonna need to put proactive measurements in place, so you're getting a bit of an understanding on what's happening in your business. How can you grow your business? So it was a great move for you to start doing that. So I'd love to know, you guys in the chat. Have you outsourced anything? Are you using virtual assistants? Do you have any virtual assistants in your team? And how are you utilizing them? Because we can all definitely learn from things together. So what's been happening in the world of Amazon these last couple of weeks?
I've posted that last week on the Facebook group, and for a change, Amazon introduced one thing that I support 100%. Because apparently from the 15th of September, you'll be able to donate directly from Amazon, from your Seller Central page, to a charity of your choice. We don't know yet how it's going to be looking in real world, but for the first time since Sans probably started selling on Amazon, it seems like Amazon is doing something worth mentioning.
Yeah. I mean, you got to definitely give Amazon credit there. I think they've done a great thing there. I think, when you're at that size, and you can only imagine the amount of waste and the amount of the amount of items that they may have in waste and things not quite right. And but you can absolutely make use and donate into different charities and things. I know us personally. We've done that before. We will absolutely try to donate wherever possible. And Amazon also came out with earlier on in the year, when they came out with the performance index. We spoke about it we spoke about it in the in the Reseller Show a little bit. I can't remember, a few months or so back, when we started talking about this performance index, where Amazon they basically give you a score. And that score is based on like a number of different metrics in your business. So like your sell-through rate, the age of your products and things. And this week, did you get an email from Amazon, Adam, saying you've got this score, and what does that mean for you in your business? What did it say for you, Adam? You've got unlimited?
Yes, unlimited. Yes.
Yeah. I'd love to know if anybody Did anybody receive anything other than at what point was the cutoff? Because I know that there's going to be some type of penalty that Amazon may give you. I think is it 350?
Yeah, I think it's going to be on that red line, which is I think 350.
Yeah.
But,
yeah,
but
so
for me personally, it doesn't make any sense that metric, because when you reseller like we do in arbitrage, and you were to replenish as many units as Amazon suggests on a slow moving stock, you'll be stuck with that stock. So for me personally, it's just not a good indicator.
No, I mean, the thing is with this performance index, obviously it does factor in, the replen, and you're now out of stock and things. But I don't know. I haven't spoken to anybody on what if they've been given 350 and below. And I'm just checking chat here, and it is Jerry says it's below 350. Hours restricted. Cutoff was 350. Okay, this is interesting, Luke. So, Luke, what was your score then? And the cutoff was 350. So I'm just trying to have a look here. Okay, so with this 350. Amazon, we always knew that they was going to use this for some type of metric. They're obviously scoring us. And it appears at 350 and below, they're going to start restricting the amount that you can ship, I guess. Yeah. So everybody that I spoke to before now, we was all unlimited. And I think the email said, what did the email say? It said something along the lines of, I had a screenshot on my your current inventory performance. Yeah, you will be unlimited storage from October the 1st to 31st of December. So Q4 basically for your standard size, oversize, and any type of product at this point. But then Luke says his was 290, and because of the turnover, he's got a different business model with books and things. So obviously they did start to restrict, which is interesting. So it's like Amazon. What are Amazon saying to us with this performance index? They're clearly wanting us to get probably more toward. Is that more pointing towards the private label model, where you've only got you've maybe only got 1, 2, 5 different lines, where it's easy for you just to replenish. You can replenish very, very easily because it's your brand, your stock. That's maybe what this performance index is ultimately pointing towards, private label.
Yeah, I guess so, because I've looked on the figures last week, and I've looked on some particular ICs that actually Amazon was suggesting me to replenish, and I had 2 or 3 of them that were selling like 3 units a month or 3 to 5 units a month. And Amazon was suggesting to replenish 16 or 26 units. So if I did that, so just imagine, Kev, if I did that on, let's say, 500 ASINs, I wouldn't have any money to source anything else, and I would have to wait whole year to sell those out. And I would be lucky, because if there were groceries, they would run out of the date. So that's what I'm saying. This index, if you are an arbitrager, it's not something that you should be that much worrying about, because some people are just worrying about that score. And if you're into arbitrage game, it's going to go down at some point anyway. So
and Luke says he was restricted to about 650,000. Is that 650,000 units, Luke? Because if that's 650,000 units, I mean, you're not doing too bad.
Exactly. Lovely, yeah.
I mean, I mean, you're not doing too bad. You've got a significant sized business if you're at 650,000 units.
Hold on a second. So up to this point, I had like 25,000 units. So if you get
Oh, sorry. Luke said it's 650,000 square foot.
Jesus Christ, that's like a
Yeah.
half warehouse. That's
which
just
is
ridiculous.
crazy. Which is crazy.
Oh, that was
Crazy.
fun. Mm-hmm.
I'll just give a couple of shout outs again because we've had a couple more people. Vladimir, good to see you. Good evening. Good. Thanks very much for checking out the Reseller Show. Much appreciated. We've got Emmanuel. Good to see you. You guys, have you hit the like button yet? Have we hit the like button, the thumbs up button? We've got Adam. Adam, guest of the show. He's on there. Give us a thumbs up button for Adam. I'd much appreciate that. But Emmanuel says, hey guys, good evening. Would you say £600 for 1,000 square foot space is reasonable?
I would say it is very, because as I said, I'm paying slightly over £600 for 650 square foot, but it obviously depends what standard, because what I went for this particular unit, it's been refurbished last year, so it's got new floor, new walls, new roof, it's got new shutter doors, it's got secure entrance doors. So that's why I said to my missus, listen, it is slightly more expensive than the other units we looked at, but it's been refurbished. We like it. It's in its perfect place for us. So it depends. It really depends.
Yeah. And for us here, ours is a 2,000 square foot warehouse. So just to put in perspective, 2,000 square foot. We don't going on that the rate at what he's paying for 1,000, 600 for 1,000. Technically, that would mean for 2,000 it'd be 1,200, right?
Yeah.
But I do not pay 1,200 for here. I don't. I pay just over 600. So it's that shows, that shows the difference in price depending on where you're at. And one thing I would say is I got into this warehouse a very, very good time. So bearing in mind, it was 2016. At the moment, at that time, there was a lot of empty units where I live here in North Lincolnshire. There was a lot of empty units, and as time has gone on, there's a lot more demand than supply. So prices have gone up. I believe that for something like this now, I've got like Gareth. You guys might know Gareth, my brother-in-law.
Yeah.
He pays a little bit more. The other two lads that you might know them from the Amazon Success Creation team, Isaac and Brandon, they've got a warehouse near us as well. They pay a little bit more. So it all depends on ultimately the timing, the location, and many, many other things.
But I would say do your numbers and see if they work, and if you can support and sustain that warehouse. Because obviously, when you sign a deal, it's not going to be like a deal for 2-3 months. It's going to be like for a couple of years. To just make sure you're not getting into a business lease just to leave the unit in a couple of months' time. So just make sure you can make enough money to pay for the unit, because when you're getting into business lease, you need to remember that's not only the price of the unit. You've got a business rate as well. If you not qualifying for the small business rates relief, you've got a service charge.
You should do. You should do at the start.
I'm just saying, I'm just saying, because some people might be going for 20,000 square foot. You know what I mean? That's definitely going to be the case. So it's better to say so. You need to remember about the service charges. You need to remember about insurances on the landlord side, on your side, which is contents as well. You need to remember about even the rubbish collection. So that it all adds up. So if we pay, let's say, £600 for the warehouse, it will all add up to probably around £750 a month. So it seems like 600. That's not bad. But if you take into account all the costs that you have to pay for, it's gonna be significantly higher.
Yeah, and one thing that I must stress, and I've tried to share this with everybody, and I'll share the same with you, Adam. When you first take the leap and get out into a warehouse, right? there are many things that you obviously have to pay for, like Adam's just said. You've got the internet to pay for. You've got the cardboard pickup to pay for. You've got the rubbish pickup to pay for. You may have like electricity and gas to pay for. We don't have gas here, we've got electricity here. Okay,
Yeah.
you've got different expenses to pay, and depending on, you may have, in some cases, you may have some type of upkeep charge of like the compound of units that are maybe together. So if you've got like a compounded unit space where there's like 10 different units and it's all like secure with a gate and everything, they may, to have the upkeep of that space, they may give a small charge to all the different units. So you want to ask your landlord or whoever you're talking to about, is there any sort of additional charges for everything? Like really think things through. But one thing that I definitely will recommend is when you go into a brand new warehouse, this isn't the time for you to spend thousands of pounds kitting out your warehouse. Like, it's just not necessary. Don't go and buy the best security cameras, like that's going to, don't go out and spend £2,000 on security cameras and spend, getting iMacs in your office and spend getting shelves and.
Hold on. Sorry to jump in, Kev, but I'll give you an awesome example that actually I've left a lease company speechless. So what I would say, so I just got myself, it's actually going to be delivered tomorrow, a brand new 27-inch iMac 5K, which normally costs $2,500, right? But I went smart and I didn't buy it for cash. I leased it. So it basically costs me over the period of 3 years the same amount of money, but I don't pay $2,500 straight away. So I can reinvest that $2,500. So after Q4, I will have more like $7,500, which will pay for the whole lease. And that's why the guy who's actually was talking to me, he couldn't understand why would I lease an iMac.
Yeah, I mean, I know exactly. I mean, you obviously you've gone a smart way of doing things there, Adam.
Yeah.
But what always has made me feel a little bit uneasy, especially if I see somebody start spending a lot when they've moved out into somewhere, is you've got to. That is the time to really, really think smartly. And when we first moved into the warehouse here, we didn't have tables for the first 3-4 months, and at that time we were on the floor, hands and knees. We were just on our hands and knees because at that time I just didn't want to spend the money on getting some tables and things made. The same as shelving. I was just not going to go out and spend hundreds of pounds on shelving when the idea is to get your products in and out. It's not a storage facility. The only time when we started to get shelving was simply because it made practical sense, because there was just the floor space. It was just not big enough. If I had all my products on the floor now, I mean, we just wouldn't be able to walk through the warehouse. It just wouldn't work, And we did it slowly, even for the computers. We got, for you guys that are maybe interested, we got £200 Google Chromebooks from Currys.
Yeah, well, they were
more than good enough. They're more than good enough to get you away with what you need, because the girls here in the warehouse, they do a fantastic job. The Chromebooks have done fantastic. Now, yes, I would absolutely love to have, I'm going to buy the MacBook Pros and all the rest of it, but it's just not necessary at the start. You've got to really take the time to build. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, but $2,500 each. That would be expensive for 4 of you.
I know. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if I the first month it's like, here guys, we've got all these MacBook Pros and you've got it in pink over there. You're really happy, and you've got it in purple. And then the following month it's like, oh well, we're done. We're done.
The ton of steel is in front of the warehouse. We didn't pay the bill. But
Just
actually, that is true. Yeah, that is true. So basically, especially that we are literally on the doorstep, and then if you can afford and there is a need for actually getting all those items, then you can start buying them. But straight away, it's just waste of money.
yeah, absolutely. Just going to read through some of the comments here. Apparently, YouTube's telling me that the stream is a little bit unhealthy, so hopefully you
Oh,
guys can still see us. Just going to read here. We had Simon who said charity is great, but it's Amazon donating our stuff. How much of their stuff gets donated? It's a good point. It's a good point.
yeah, but why is that good point? Because I'm not bothered about how much Amazon donates, because it doesn't bother me how much Amazon donates, because I'm just looking at from a perspective of my own business. So instead of getting all those units back, inspecting those and all the stuff, I can donate them straight to the charity of my choice, and that makes it even easier to manage that. So I can export the report and send it across to my accountant. So from my point of view, it doesn't matter to me how much Amazon is donating, because it just doesn't bother me.
Yeah, yeah. You guys that are in the chat here live, if you guys have got any questions for Adam, please fire in your questions. We're more than happy to talk about anything you guys that you want. But we also had Jerry said, guys, I would say the secret is to start small. I'm at 200 square foot and it's perfect for scale. So that's another thing. There's different options out there. There's smaller units. The objective is, depending on what your business model is, whether you are doing, it all really depends. But if you're selling on Amazon FBA, you want to get your products in and out.
And
That's the objective. I mean, what Jerry says there is it's a great point in terms of sometimes. What's the saying? I don't know what the saying is. It's something to do with, it doesn't matter what size it is, you're going to fill the size, right?
Oh yeah.
So you're going to fill the space. Eventually you'll fill the space. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to have like an aircraft hangar where it's going to take you some years to fill that space. But if you get anything up to, when we first moved into here, 2,000 square foot, it was mind blowing to us that the question was every day, how do I fill this? How do I fill this?
Yeah.
How do I get enough products coming into here all the time to fill this space, right? So on the flip side of this, systems that you can create is if you make things like I'll give you a great example, right? One of the systems that we started to deal with when we got out into a warehouse was Amazon returns. Right. So when we was at home and you was to get Amazon returns, because you've got so many things on and I was working full time, Amazon returns, you'd have different piles everywhere. You can probably remember this, like piles of like, you've got some Amazon returns here, you've got some inbound stock there, you've got a box here that's half prepped, and you've got another box near your door ready to be picked up from UPS. In your house, there is no logical order of where you can prep things. Like obviously you do the best you can with what you've got. So when we got out into a warehouse, we started to allocate little like spaces of, right, okay, this is our Amazon returns, right? This is our inbound. This is everything that's been logged in. And one of the things that we discovered was Amazon returns. This pile just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And it was an indication, was like, right, we're going to have to create a system for this. We're going to have to get better at this. And you can put things in, like we used to use the grocery baskets. Okay, so the grocery basket was now an indication for me. If that grocery basket is full, it means what's going on with this system. It's like a KPI. Do you know what I mean? And that's how we ended up actually deciding these shelves. The shelves that we got in the warehouse, they're a great size shelf, and it was very strategically done that the shelf is a great size for a shipment. Okay, so if the shelf is full, it means that there's enough for a shipment. And if the shelf then gets too full, it starts obviously to spill. It starts to spill out onto the floor, which straight away that's a really obvious indication. So to go back to full circle to what Jerry's saying is if you've got a small space, a 200 square foot, if you fill that space and if it's just totally, full with stuff every time, it's going to get you to take action because you're going to want to empty the space, right? So it's one of those things that you can play around with. Like, do you limit different spaces? There's a fine balance between thinking maybe too small that you're too busy, or you're so, like, we was at home, we was in our living room, stuff everywhere. We were thinking we're super, super busy. We got out into a warehouse and we're not really that busy at all. Do you see what I mean? So it's a fine balance.
Yeah. But to jump in to answer Jerry, I'm not suggesting that you should go straight away for a 600,000 square foot. I went for a warehouse simply because I didn't have any storage units around where I live. The closest one is in Birmingham, but I'm not going to be traveling 25 miles one way to the unit, because it would cost me more in the fuel to get there and back on a daily basis. So that's why I went. If I had like those little yellow storage ones, I would go straight away for like 200-300 square foot unit, because that would be more than enough for myself. So I'm saying it is actually quite good advice. Start small, especially with a storage unit, because you don't sign like a 5 years long lease on those. So you can upgrade, or you can look for a perfect warehouse in the meantime. And by all means, I'm not suggesting you have to go for the 2,000 square foot warehouse straight away. You just do what feels right.
I'm suggesting that you should.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you do what you do. Good point there, Adam. You do what feels right for you. That's the only thing that we can say. There's a fine balance between stretching yourself too much and not enough. We pushed ourselves a lot coming into here. Like, it's a big space to fill. And the way you may have heard me speak about this before, guys, but I like to create vacuum effects in my life and business, where, a vacuum effect is, it forces growth, it forces action. Like, we're always thinking, how do we fill this space? How can we best use the space? How can we grow to that next level? What else can we do in this space? That was, one of the reasons why, I was like, right, we can start a prep service. We can start a masterminds, masterminds in the warehouse. Instead of going to a conference room where we've got, a nice fancy conference room, I was like, we're Amazon sellers. We sell online. Yeah. Why would I do that in a conference room? Why not make the warehouse open? Let's open it up, see the shelves, see the table, see the tape, see the bubble wrap, just see it all. And that's what we're all about. So, but I wasn't even thinking about like hosting masterminds until I got out into a warehouse, because now I had the space. Now I'm thinking, what else can I do here? Okay, so it's just one of the things. But Nini has a great question here. Great to see you, Nini. Thanks for tuning in. She says, hi guys. I buy used books from charity shops. I've been warned for listing a book that is copyright violation. How can I avoid this in the future? How can I resolve this problem with Amazon? So the first thing I would say here, Nini, is me personally, I've got limited to no experience with books. Like, I sold a book on eBay years ago, but we do have. There is. Luke was in the chat. Hopefully Luke is maybe still here. But Luke Storr, he's definitely a person that I would recommend in terms of books. There's also Reezy Resells. He's a good friend of ours of the show. He deals with books as well. So it would be a great question for Luke to answer, because I don't personally know in terms of used books. I'm not 100% sure what the deal would be there. Have you sold any books before, Adam?
No, I haven't touched the anything that is used, simply because I just don't want to get into troubles. Because for me personally, and obviously I'm not trying to bash anybody, because I'm not. Look is doing awesome job, but I didn't get into selling anything used simply because if I will get into trouble. Sometimes you can't get an invoice. So how can you prove? Actually, I've been working with somebody who has been suspended for exactly for that, and then they were buying like on the car boots and stuff like that. And how can you provide an invoice for that? How can you prove the genuinity of that item? You can't. So that was the only reason why I didn't get into that.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand. Maybe with books, I don't know how often this happens. I can't see it. Like, how many questions are there? Is this a real book? Because a book is a book. Do you get sort of unauthentic books? I'm not sure. Obviously, we actually have an episode of the Reseller Show with Luke Pastor in.
With
so
Luke,
if you are, if you're listening to this back, or if you're here, guys, live, and you want to learn more about books, if you just search on YouTube the Reseller Show with Luke Pastor, I think it was like episode 36 or something, then it might well be a great listen to, and he might cover that particular question there. But there is some advantages to books for sure. I mean, I believe that they're 0% VAT, right?
Yeah, there are, and obviously, if you buy a used books, the stock costs you literally pennies. It doesn't cost like 20, 30, 50 quid. It costs you sometimes a couple of pence if you've got your contacts at the charities or buy at the wholesale price. So there's definitely an upside to this business. It is.
100%. Right. Well, we've got the last couple of minutes here, Adam. So I suppose we'll go back onto what does the future hold for Adam? Like, obviously, you're going to get into warehouse. You're going to have a great end of year. We wish you all the best getting into the warehouse, building out the team. Where's Adam in 12 months from now? Where do you hope? What's your ambitions, your visions for the next 12 months or so, going into 2020?
Well, so next 12 months, obviously, I'll be working hard to 100% outsource my business, and that includes the warehouse as well, because I'll be sooner or later looking for an employee who will take over my duties, so I can focus more on creating my own brand. I would like to be more visible in the group as well, so I would like to provide a little bit more of advice, guidance, coaching for anybody in our Facebook group. So these are going to be the areas I'm going to be focusing more and more within the next 12 months.
Fantastic. Well, on behalf of myself and Andy, we absolutely love bringing different people on the show. We've had some fantastic guests, and Adam, it's been absolutely a pleasure to have you here. You guys that are here watching live, please do give it a thumbs up. If you guys are listening back on the podcast, myself and Andy would absolutely love if you would go down into the review section. Give us a quick review on iTunes. It does help out the show. We really, really do appreciate you. The bigger the show gets, the more we've got some big ambitions for the show. We would love for the show to go out live one day. We come maybe to a place near you, do some live reseller shows, bring more and more guests on, and really just keep providing more and more support for your businesses, whether that is wholesale, whether it is private label, brand building, whatever it is. The Reseller Show is it's really evolving into a great mastermind community of everybody can just get together. And so I really do appreciate you, Adam. How can people get in contact with you if they want to learn a little bit more about you, reach out to you?
So basically, the best place to find me, as I don't have any website or anything yet, I'm in the process of setting up. Just pop into our Facebook group, and you can definitely find my live streams or my posts in there. Just search for my name, and it definitely will pop up.
Yeah, and just a quick tag on the end here. Adam is a part of the online arbitrage and the wholesale arbitrage mastery Facebook group. If you wanted to one day, if you ever wanted to have a call with Adam, you can do. If you just go to lifesuccessengineer.com/call, Adam is actually one of my I've been working with Adam for some time. He's now he's offered himself, if there's anybody in the community that wants to jump onto a call and get some support from Adam, he's willing to spend some of his time and just give you some advice and some support going on your journey. So that's always an option for you as well. But I want to thank you guys that joined us live. You guys that are watching back on the recording, thank you so much. This has been the Reseller Show with Adam as a special guest. Next week, touch wood, hopefully Andy's back. Looking forward to seeing Andy again after his long-deserved break. And we'll see you guys in the next Reseller Show. Take massive action every single day.
Cheers. Thank you.
Bye-bye, guys.